Shabbat shalom, peace and love, Shabbat shalom. I'll be reading from the book of Jeremiah, chapter 45 to 49. Bear with me as I try to get through this, y'all willing. Book of Jeremiah, chapter 45, verse 1. The word that Yirmiyahu, the prophet, spoke to Baruch, son of Neriah, when he had written these words in the book from the mouth of Yirmiyahu in the 4th year of Yehoiakim, son of Yoshiyahu, sovereign of Yehuda, saying, verse 2, Thus said Yahuwah, the Elohim of Yisrael, concerning you, Baruch. Verse 3, You have said, Woe to me now, for Yahuwah has added grief to my pain. I have been wearied with my sighing, and I have found no rest. Verse 4, Say this to him, Thus said Yahuwah, See, what I have built I am breaking down, and what I have planted I am plucking up. That is the entire land. Verse 5, and do you seek great matters for yourself? Do not seek them for look. I am bringing evil on all flesh, declares Yahuwah. But I shall give your life to you as a prize in all places, wherever you go. Chapter 46, verse 1. The word of Yahuwah which came to Yirmiyahu the prophet concerning the nations. Verse 2, For Mizraim concerning the army of Pharaoh Necho, sovereign of Mizraim, which was by the river Euphrates in Carchemish, and which Nebuchadnezzar, the sovereign of Babel, had stricken in the 4th year, Yehoiakim, son of Yeshayahu, sovereign of Yehuda. Verse 3, Prepare the large and the small shield, and draw near to battle. Verse 4, Harness the horses and mount up your horsemen. Stand with helmets, polish the spears, put on the armor. Verse 5, Why do I see them afraid? Why do I see them afraid, turned back, and their fighters are beaten down, and they have fled in haste, and did not look back, for fear was all around, declares Yahuwah. Verse 6, Do not let the swift flee away, nor the mighty man escape. They shall stumble and fall toward the north by the river Euphrates. Verse 7, Who is the rising like a flood, whose waters surge about like the rivers? Verse 8, Mizraim rises like a flood, and its waters surge about like the rivers. And he says, Let me rise, cover the earth, let me destroy the city and its inhabitants. Verse 9, Go up, horses, and rage, O chariots, and let the mighty men go forth. Cush and Put, who handle the shield, and Lud, who handle the bow, who handle and bend the bow. Verse 10, For this is the day of the Master Yahuwah of hosts, a day of vengeance himself, to revenge himself on his adversaries. And the sword should devour and be satisfied and made drunk with the blood. For the Master of Yahuwah of hosts has slaughtering in the land of the north by the river Euphrates. Verse 11, Go up to Gilad and take balm, O maiden, the daughter of Mizraim. In vain you have used many remedies. There is no healing for you. Verse 12, Nations have heard of your shame, and your cry has filled the land. For the mighty has stumbled against the mighty. They have both fallen together. Verse 13, the word which Yahuwah spoke to Yirmiyahu the prophet about coming of Nebuchadnezzar, sovereign of Babel, to strike the land of Mizraim. Verse 14, declare in Mizraim, and let it be heard in Migdol, and let it be heard in Noph and Taphanes. Say, stand fast and be prepared, for a sword shall devour all around you. Verse 15, why were your strong ones swept away? They did not stand because Yahuwah drove them away. Verse 16, he made many stumble. Indeed, they fell over each other and said, arise, let us go back to our own people and to the land of our birth, away from the pressing sword. Verse 17. There they cried, Pharaoh, sovereign of Mizraim, is but a noise. He has let the appointed time pass by. Verse 18. As I live, declares the sovereign, whose name is Yahuwah of hosts, for as Tabor is among the mountains, and as Carmel by the sea, he shall come. Verse 19. O you daughter dwelling in Mizraim, prepare yourself to go into exile, for Noph shall become a waste and a ruin, and he burned without inhabitant. Verse 20, Mizraim is like a very pretty heifer, but destruction comes, it comes from the north. Verse 21. Verse 21. Her 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 hired ones too in her midst are like fattened calves, for they too shall turn, they shall flee away together. They shall they shall not stand, for the day of calamity has come upon them, the time of their punishment. Verse 22, its sound moves along like a serpent, for they move on like an army and come against her with axes like woodcutters. Verse 23, they shall cut down her forest, declares Yahuwah, for it is not searched, because they are more numerous than locusts and without number. Verse 24, the daughter of Mizraim shall be put to shame. She shall be given into the hand of the people of the north. Verse 25, Yahuwah of hosts, the Elohim of Israel, has said, see, I am bringing punishment on Ammon of No, and on Pharaoh, and on Mizraim, and on their mighty ones, and on their sovereigns, and on Pharaoh, and on those trusting in him. Verse 26, and I shall give them into the hand of those who seek their lives, into the hand of Nebuchadnezzar, sovereign of Babel, and into the hand of his servants. And afterward it shall be inhabited as in the days of old, declares Yahuwah. Verse 27, but as for you, do not dare, I'm sorry, but as for you, do not fear, O Yah, o my servant Jacob, and do not be discouraged, O Israel, for look, I am saving you from afar, and your descendants from the land of their captivity. And Jacob shall return and shall have rest and be at ease, with no one disturbing. Verse 28, do not fear, O Jacob, my servant, declares Yahuwah, for I am with you. Though I make complete end of all the nations to which I have driven you, yet I do not make a complete end of you, but I shall reprove you in the right ruling, and by no means leave you unpunished. Chapter 47. Chapter 47, verse 1. The word of Yahuwah that came to Yirmiyahu the prophet concerning the Philistines before Pharaoh struck Azar. Verse 2. Thus said Yahuwah, see, waters are rising out of the north, and shall be an overflowing flood, and they shall overflow the land and all that is in it, the city and those who dwell within, and men shall cry, and all the inhabitants of the land shall wail. Verse 3. At the noise of the stamping hooves of the strong horses, at the rushings of his chariots, at the rumbling of his wheels, and the fathers shall not look to their children because of weakness of hands. Verse 4. Because of the day that shall come to ravage all Philistines, to cut off from Zara and Sidon every helper that survives. For Yahuwah is ravaging the Philistines, the remnant of the Isle of Kaftor. Verse 5. Baldness shall come upon Azar, Ashkelon shall be cut off with remnant of their valley. Till when would you cut yourself? Verse 6. O you sword of Yahuwah, how long till your rest? Put yourself up into your chef, rest and be still. Verse 7. How shall it rest when Yahuwah have given it a command against Ashkelon and against the seashore? There he has appointed it. Chapter 48, verse 1. Concerning Moab, this is what Yahuwah of hosts, the Elohim of Israel, said: Woe to Nebo, for it is ravaged. Kiriathim is put to shame, captured. The high stronghold is put to shame and broken down. Verse 2. There is praise for Moab no longer in Heshbon. They have devised evil against her. Come and let us cut it off as a nation. O madman, you are also cut off. A sword goes after you. Verse 3. Listen, an outcry from Haranaim, ravaging and great destruction. Verse 4. Moab shall be destroyed. Her little ones shall cry out. Verse 5. For on the ascent to Lahith they go up weeping bitterly, for in the descent of Horonium the enemy shall hear a cry of destruction. Verse 6. Flee, deliver your own lives, and be like a bush in the wilderness. Verse 7. For because you have trusted in your works and your treasures, you shall be captured, and Chemosh shall go forth into exile, his priests and his heads together. Verse 8. And a ravager shall come into every city, no one escapes, and the valley shall perish, and the plain be destroyed, as Yahuwah has spoken. Verse 9. Give wings to Moab, for she has to flee away, and her cities become a ruin, with no one to dwell in them. Verse 10. Curses he who is slack in doing the work of Yahuwah, and curses he who is withhold his sword from blood. Verse 11. Moab has been at ease from his youth, and he has settled on his dregs, and has not been emptied from vessels to vessel. nor have he gone into exile. Therefore, his flavor has stayed in him, and his fragrance is uncharged. I'm sorry, unchanged. Just to keep in context, this is concerning Moab. That is what is Yahuwah of hosts, the Elohim Israel said. So this is concerning in the time of the actual time of Yirmiyahu. This is I don't think this is to be confused with like some future prophecy, which you got a lot of brothers and sisters try to use this as something to be done in the future, but I'm not getting that out of the context of the chapter. Verse 11, Moab has been at ease from his youth, and he has settled on his drags, and has not been empty from vessels to vessels, nor has he gone into exile. Therefore, his flavor has stayed in him, and his fragrance is unchanged. Verse 12, therefore, see the days are coming, declares Yahuwah, when I shall send him tillers who shall tilt him over and empty his vessel and break the bottles. Verse 13, and Moab shall be ashamed because of Chemosh, as the house of Israel was ashamed of Bethuel, their refuge. Verse 14, how do you say we are mighty and strong men for battle? Verse 15, Moab is ravaged, and her cities have been entered, and her chosen young men have gone down to the slaughter. Declare the sovereign whose name is Yahuwah of hosts. Verse 16, the calamity of Moab is near to come, and his affliction hurries fast. Verse 17, lament for him, all you who are around him, and all you who know his name, say, how the strong scepter has been broken in the staff of splendor. Verse 18, come down from your esteem and sit in thirst, O, o inhabitant, daughter of Debon. For the ravager of Moab shall come against you, he shall destroy your stronghold. Verse 19, stand by the way and watch, O inhabitant of Aurora. Ask him who flees and her who escapes, say, what has been done? Verse 20, Moab has been put to shame, for it has been broken down. Howl and cry, let it be heard in Arnon that Moab is ravaged. Verse 21, and judgment has come on the plain country, on Holon, and on Haspa, and on Mophah. Verse 22, and on Debon, and Numbo, and Beth Diblion. Verse 23, and on Kiriathim, and on Beth Gamul, and on Beth Meon. Verse 24, and on Kerioth, and on Bosvar, and on all the cities of the land of Moab, far and near. Verse 25, the horn of Moab has been cut off, and his arm has been broken, declares Yahuwah. Verse 26, make him drunk, because he has made himself great against Yahuwah. Moab shall splash in his vomit, and he shall also be in mockery. Verse 27, and was not Yisrael a mockery to you? Was he found among thieves? For whenever you speak of him, you shake your head. Verse 28, O inhabitants of Moab, leave the cities and dwell in the rock, and be like dove making a nest in the side of the calves, in the side of the cave's mouth. Verse 29, we have heard of the pride of Moab. Proud, he is very proud of his loftiness and arrogance and pride, and of haughtiness of his heart. Verse 30, I know his wrath, declares Yahuwah, and his boasting are untrue, and his deeds are false. Verse 31, therefore I wail for Moab, and I cry out for all Moab. I mourn for the men of Kiriath. Verse 32, O vine of Simnah, I weep for you with the weeping of Hazar. Your branches have passed over the sea. They have come to the sea of Yazar. The ravager have fallen on your summer fruit and your grape harvest. Verse 33, joy and gladness have been taken away from the orchard and from the land of Moab, and I have made wine to cease from the winepress. No one treads with shouting, the shouting is no shouting. Verse 34, from the outcry of Heshbon until Eliel, until Yahat, they shall raise their voice from Zoar to Horonaim like a 3 year old heifer, for even the waters of Nimrim are dried up. Verse 35, and I shall make an end in Moab to him who offers in the high places and burn incense to his mighty ones, declares Yahuwah. Verse 36, so my heart sounds for Moab like flutes, and my heart sounds for the men of Perez like flutes. Therefore, the wealth they made shall be gone. Verse 37, for every head is bald, and every beard clipped, cuts on all the hands, and sackcloth on the loins. Verse 38, on all the housetops of Moab and in its streets, it is all lamentation. For I have broken Moab like a vessel in which no one declares delights, declares Yahuwah. Verse 39, how has she been broken down? They shall wail. How has Moab turned her back with shame? So Moab shall be a mockery and a horror to all those about her. Verse 40, for thus said Yahuwah, see, he soars like an eagle and shall spread his wings over Moab. Verse 41, Kerioth shall be captured and the stronghold seized. And the heart of the mighty men in Moab on the day, and that day shall be like the heart of a woman in labor. Verse 42, and Moab shall be destroyed as people because he has made himself great against Yahuwah. Verse 43, fear and the pit and the snare are upon you, O inhabitant of Moab, declares Yahuwah. Verse 44, he who flees from this fear falls into the pit, and he who gets out of the pit is caught in the snare. For I am bringing upon Moab the year of their punishment, declares Yahuwah. Verse 45, those who fled stood powerless under the shadow of Heshbon, but a fire shall come out of Heshbon and flame from the midst of Shahon and consume the brow of Moab and the crown of the head of the sons of uproar. Verse 46, woe to you, O Moab, the people of Chemosh have perished, for your sons have been taken into exile and your daughters into exile. Verse 47, but I shall turn back the captivity of Moab in the latter ends, declares Yahuwah. Thus far is the judgment of Moab. Verse 49. I'm sorry, chapter 49, verse 1. Concerning the Ammonites, thus said Yahuwah, has Israel no sons? Has he no hair, no ear? Why has Malcolm taken possession of Gad, and his people dwell in its cities? Verse 2, therefore, see, the days are coming, declares Yahuwah, when I shall sound a battle cry in Rabbah of Ammonites, and it shall be a heap, a wasteland, and her villages shall be burned with fire. Then Yisrael shall disposes those who disposes him, declares Yahuwah. Verse 3, how, O Heshbon, for I is ravaged. Cry, daughters of Rabbah, gird on sackcloth, lament and diligently search by the wells, for Malcolm shall go into exile with his priests and his heads. Verse 4, why do you boast in the valleys, your flowing valley, O backsliding daughter who is trusting in her treasure, saying, who would come against me? Verse 5, see, I am bringing fear upon you from all those around you, declares the Master Yahuwah of hosts, and you shall be driven out, each one straight ahead, with no one to bring home the wanderer. Verse 6. And after this I turn back the captivity of the children of Ammon, declares Yahuwah. Verse 7. Concerning Edom, thus said Yahuwah of hosts, is there no more wisdom in Teman? Has counsel been lost to those with understanding? Has their wisdom vanished? Verse 8. Flee, turn back, dwell in the midst, dwell in the depths, O inhabitants of Dedan. For I shall bring the calamity of Esau upon him, the time that I shall punish him. Verse 9. If grape gatherers came to you, would they not leave some gleaning grapes? Even thieves by night come destroy only until Even thieves by night would destroy only until they had enough. Verse 10. But as for me, I shall make Esau bare. I shall uncover his hiding place so that he is unable to conceal himself. His seed is ravaged, his brothers and his neighbors, and he is no more. Verse 11. Leave your fathers. One second. Leave his father's children, let me keep them alive, and let your widows trust in me. Verse 12. For thus said Yahuwah, see, those whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have certainly drunk, and are you the one to go unpunished? You shall not go unpunished, but certainly drink of it. Verse 13. For I have sworn by myself, declares Yahuwah, that Bosrar is to become a ruin, a reproach, a waste, and a curse, and all its cities become everlasting waste. Verse 14. I have heard a report from Yahuwah, and an envoy has been sent to the nations. Gather together, come against her, and rise up to battle. Verse 15. For look, I shall make you small among nations, despised among men. Verse 16. The dread for you, the pride of your heart, has deceived you, O you who dwell in the clefts of the rock, holding the height of the hill, though you make your nest as high as the eagle, for from there I bring you down, declares the master. Verse 17. Edom shall be a ruin. Everyone who passes by it is astonished and whistles at all its plagues. Verse 18. And in the overflow of Siddim and Amorah and their neighboring cities, declares Yahuwah, no one shall dwell there, nor would a son of man sovereign in it. Verse 19. See, he comes up like a lion from the yard and jungle against the home of the strong. But in an instant I shall make him run away from her. And who is the chosen one to appoint over her? For who is like me? And who summons me? And who is that shepherd who stands before me? Verse 20. Therefore, hear the counsel of Yahuwah, which he has counseled concerning Edom, and the purpose he has purpose concerning the inhabitants of Teman. The least of the flock shall drag them away. He shall make their pasture a waste before them. Verse 21. The earth shall be shaken at the noise of their fall. There is an outcry. Its noise is heard at the sea of reeds. Verse 22. See, like an eagle, he flies up and spreads his wings over Bashar. And the heart of the mighty men of Edom in that day shall be like the heart of women in her pain. Verse 23. Concerning Das Damascus, Hamath and Arpad had been put to shame, for they have heard an evil report. They have been melted in anxiety like the sea, unable to rest. Verse 24. Damascus has become feeble. She has turned to flee, and trembling has taken hold of her. Distress and pain have seized her like a woman in labor. Verse 25. How is the city of praise deserted, the city of my joy? Verse 26. Therefore, her young men fell in her streets. Her young men fall in her streets, and all the men of battle are cut off in the day, declares Yahuwah of hosts. Verse 27. And I shall kindle a fire in the wall of Damascus, and it shall consume the palaces of Ben Hadad. Verse 28. To Kedar and to the reign of Khazar, which Nebuchadnezzar, sovereign of Babel, struck. Thus said Yahuwah, arise, go up to Kedar and ravage the men of the east. Verse 29. Their tents and their flocks, their curtains and all their vessels shall be taken, and they shall take away the camels for themselves, and they shall cry out to them, fear is on every side. Verse 30. Flee, go away, dwell in the depths, O inhabitants of Hazar, declares Yahuwah, for Nebuchadnezzar, sovereign of Babel, has taken counsel against you and has devised a plan against you. Verse 31. Arise, go up to the nation at ease that dwells safely, declares Yahuwah. It has no gates or bars, they dwell alone. Verse 32. And their camels shall become plunder, and their large herds booty, and I shall scatter them to all winds, those who cut off the corner and bring their calamity from all its sides, declares Yahuwah. Verse 33. Hazar shall be a habitation from jackals, a desert forever. No one dwells there, nor does Son of Man sojourn in it. The 34 verse 34. The word of Yahuwah that came to Yirmiyahu the prophet concerning Eliam in the beginning of the reign of Zedekiah, the sovereign of Yehuda, saying, verse 35, thus said Yahuwah of hosts, see, I am breaking the bow of Eliam and the chief of their might. Verse 36, and I shall bring upon Eliam the four winds from the four corners of the heavens and scatter them toward all those winds, and there shall be no nation where the outcasts of Eliam do not go. Verse 37, and I shall break Eliam before their enemies and before those who seek their life, and I shall bring evil upon them. My burning displeasure declares Yahuwah, and I shall send the sword after them until I have consumed them. Verse 38, and I shall set my throne in Eliam and destroy from there the sovereign and the heads, declares Yahuwah. Verse 39, and it shall be in the latter days that I turn back the captivity of Eliam, declares Yahuwah. Turning back the captivity on a lot of nations I see. That completes the chapter of that completes the reading of book of Jeremiah, chapter 45 to 49. I appreciate your patience. I'm gonna bless us out according to the blessing that was given to Moses to bless the people in the book of Numbers. Then Numbers chapter 6, verse 23 to 26. Receive your blessing. May Yahuwah bless you, Barak you, and guard you. May Yahuwah make his face shine upon you and show favor to you. May Yahuwah lift up his face upon you and give you peace. Till next time, peace, love, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, love, and peace.